Namaskar, Rajiv. This teaching is meant for the plus 2 second year students. The Daffodils is the first poem of the second year plus 2 students. I have discussed the first and second stanza before. Now I am going to discuss third and fourth stanza of the Daffodils. This is the third stanza of the Daffodils. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay. In such a drunken company, I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. This stanza has some difficult words. At first, I discussed the meaning of some difficult words. Then, one by one line, I discussed here. The waves besides them danced. Besides means pakhore. Glee means এটি মানে এটাকে আমরা joyfulness বা joy. Gay means motionless. Jocund means merry or joyful. Gazed ମାନେ stare at ଅନେଇକି ରହିବା ଗୋଟେ କୌଣସି ନିର୍ଦ୍ଦିଷ୍ଟ ଜାଗାକୁ ଅଧିକ ସମୟ ଧରି. Wealth ମାନେ ଧନ. ଆଉ ବାୟର ବ୍ରାଟିଜ ଆମେ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି. ତ now as we know, the daffodils are situated beside the lakes, and the lakes has some water, and that water makes the waves, and that waves beside them refer to your daffodils are dance. That means daffodil ପାଖରେ ଯେଉଁ ଲେକ୍ ଥିଲା ସେ ଲେକ୍ରେ ଯେଉଁ ୱେଭ୍ସ ବା ତରଙ୍ଗ ସୃଷ୍ଟି ହେଇଛି ତାହା ଡ୍ୟାନ୍ସ କରୁଛି. But they refer to here daffodils outdid the sparkling waves in glee. Sparkling means sparkle, sparkling ମାନେ କି ଚକଚକ କରିବା. Glee means joy. ତାମାନେ କବି କହିଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ଯେପରି ଆମର daffodils ମାନେ ପବନ ବହିଲା ବେଳକୁ ଡ୍ୟାନ୍ସ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, ସ୍ପାର୍କଲିଂ କରୁଛନ୍ତି. This is the much more better, much more enchanting or much more joyful than the waves beside the daffodils danced. The poet refers to that here the waves in the lakes beside the daffodils are dancing, but the daffodils in cheerfulness and brightness surpassed the waves. The daffodils in cheerfulness and brightness surpassed the waves means that when the daffodils are dancing in the breeze, and it creates the sparkling waves which is much more enchanting than the waves are created in the lakes that beside the daffodils. ବୁଝିପାରିଲେ କି? ମାନେ ଯେଉଁ ଆମର ଯେଉଁ ଆମର ଲେକ୍ରେ ଯେଉଁ ୱେଭ୍ ତିଆରି ହେଇଛି ସେଠି ଯେଉଁ ୱେଭ୍ଟା ଡ୍ୟାନ୍ସିଂ କରୁଛି ତାଠାରୁ ମଚ୍ ମୋର୍ ବେଟର୍ ଦେନ୍ କିଏ ନା ଯେଉଁ ଡାଫୋଡିଲ୍ସ ମାନେ ପବନ ଦେଲା ବେଳକୁ ଯେଉଁ ଟୁ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଫ୍ରୋ ମୋସନ୍ କରିକି ଫ୍ଲଟରିଂ କରିକି ଡ୍ୟାନ୍ସିଂ କରିକି ଯେଉଁ ସ୍ପାର୍କଲିଂ ୱେଭ୍ସ ତିଆରି କରୁଛନ୍ତି. ବୁଝିପାରିଲେ କି ନାହିଁ? ତ ଏ ପଏଟ୍ କୁଡ୍ ନଟ୍ ବଟ୍ be gay in such a jocund company. A poet could not, অর্থাৎ a poet could not move. He stood some while motionlessly to enjoy the beautiful nature in such a jocund company, in such a merry company, in such a joyful company. ଏମିତି ଗୋଟେ ଏକୁଟିଆ ଜାଗାରେ ଗୋଟେ ସଙ୍ଗାତ ମିଳିଗଲେ ବା ଖୁସି କଥାବାର୍ତ୍ତା ବା ବାତାବରଣ ଥିଲେ ଯେମିତି ଆମେ କିଛି ସମୟ ସେଠାରେ ଅଟକି ଯାଆନ୍ତି. ଏଠି ସେଇଭଳି କବି କ'ଣ କରିଛନ୍ତି, ଏଇ ଯେଉଁ ଆମର ଡାଫୋଡିଲ୍ସ ମାନଙ୍କର ଦୃଶ୍ୟରେ ବିମୋହିତ ହୋଇ ତାଙ୍କ ଡାଫୋଡିଲ୍ସ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ସେ ନିଜର ସଙ୍ଗାତ ବା ମେରି କମ୍ପାନୀ ବା ଜକଣ୍ଡ କମ୍ପାନୀ ହୁ ଗିଭ୍ସ ହିମ୍ ହ୍ୟାପିନେସ୍ ତାହା ଭାବିଛନ୍ତି. ଅର୍ଥାତ ଯେଉଁ କମ୍ପାନୀ ଆମକୁ ହ୍ୟାପିନେସ୍ ଦେଇଥାଏ, ଯାହାର ସାଥି ଆମକୁ ଖୁସି ଦେଇଥାଏ, ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ୍ ଜକଣ୍ଡ କମ୍ପାନୀ, ଆଣ୍ଡ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଜକଣ୍ଡ କମ୍ପାନୀ ବିକମ୍ସ ଦ ଡାଫୋଡିଲ୍ସ ଫର୍ ଦ ପଏଟ୍. ଏ ପଏଟ୍ କୁଡ୍ ନଟ୍ ମୁଭ୍ He stood some while motionlessly in such a jocund company, and he feel that such a what a jocund company the daffodils are. I gazed and gazed, but little thought that wealth the soul to me had brought. He or poet, I refer to here the poet. The poet gazed and gazed to the daffodils without thinking some special, and what wealth the soul to me had brought. poet କହିଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ଏତେ ସମୟ ସେଠାରେ ସ୍ପେଣ୍ଡ କଲା ପରେ, ଏତେ ସମୟ ସେଠି ଅତିବାହିତ କଲା ପରେ ସେ କେଉଁ ଧନ ଉପାର୍ଜନ କରିଛନ୍ତି ସେଠାରେ, ଏତେ ସମୟ ବ୍ୟତୀତ କଲେ କ'ଣ ସେ ପାଇଲେ। ପଏଟ୍ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଆଫ୍ଟର ସ୍ପେଣ୍ଡିଂ ସୋ ମଚ୍ ଟାଇମ୍ ଟୁ ସି ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ବ୍ୟୁଟିଫୁଲ୍ ନେଚର୍ ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ ୱିଲ୍ ହି ଗେଟ୍ and what wealth he had bought. This is the main theme of the third stanza. Now we are going to the first stanza that are to be discussed here. For often when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. For often, or for so many times, when on my couch means sofa, ଯେତେବେଳେ ଚେୟାର ବା ସୋଫା, ଯେତେବେଳେ ତାଙ୍କ ସୋଫାରେ ପୋଏଟ୍ ବସିଛନ୍ତି, when the poet lies on his couch in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. Means vacant means शून्य, pensive means thoughtful, ମାନେ କିଛି କଥା ଭାବିବା। they refer to here the daffodils. flash upon ମାନେ ଯେମିତି ଆମେ ମାନେ appear suddenly, ମନେକର ଆମେ ବସିଛନ୍ତି ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷକୁ ଆମେ ଦେଖିକରି ବସିଥିବା, ହଠାତ୍ ଆମେ ଆଖି ବୁଜିଦେବା, ତାପରେ ଆଖି ଖୋଲିଦେବା, ସେ ଜିନିଷଟା ଆମେ ଆଖି ଆଗରେ ନାଚି ଉଠେ, ଏଇଟା ଫ୍ଲାସ୍ ଅପନ୍, ଏଇଟା ହେଉଛି ସଡନ୍ଲି ଆପିଅର। ଇନୱାର୍ଡ ଆଇ ମାନେ ଆମ ଆଖି ବୁଜିଦେଲା ପରେ ଆମ ଆଖି ଭିତରେ ଯେଉଁଟା ନାଚି ଉଠେ। ବ୍ଲିସ୍ ମିନ୍ସ ଦ ପରଫେକ୍ଟ ହାପିନେସ୍ ଅର୍ ଗ୍ରେଟ୍ ଜୟ। ସଲିଚ୍ୟୁଡ୍ ମିନ୍ସ ଲୋନଲିନେସ୍ ଅର୍ ଏକୁଟିଆ। ଆମେ ଏକୁଟିଆ ଯେତେବେଳେ ବସିଥାନ୍ତି, ଏଇଟା ବ୍ଲିସ୍ ମାନେ ଯିଏ ଆମକୁ ଗ୍ରେଟ୍ ଜୟ ଦେଇଥାଏ, ଏଇଟା ତ ବ୍ଲିସ୍ ଅଫ୍ ସଲିଚ୍ୟୁଡ୍, ମାନେ ଲୋନଲିନେସ୍ ବେଳେ ଯିଏ ଆମକୁ ଖୁସି ଦେଇଥାଏ। ପଏଟ୍ ଏଠାରେ ଡେସ୍କ୍ରାଇବ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି ହ୍ୱେନ୍ ହି ଲାଇଜ୍ ଅନ୍ ହିଜ୍ କଚ୍, ଯେତେବେଳେ ବା ଅନ୍ ହିଜ୍ ସୋଫା, ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେ ନିଜ ସୋଫାରେ ବସିଛନ୍ତି। ଇନ୍ ଭ୍ୟାକେଣ୍ଟ ଅର୍ ଇନ୍ ସମ୍ ଥଟ୍ଫୁଲ୍ ମୁଡ୍, ଯେତେବେଳେ କିଛି ଶୂନ୍ୟ ମାଇଣ୍ଡରେ ହେଉ କି ଥଟ୍ଫୁଲ୍ ମୁଡ୍ରେ ହେଉ। ଦେ ମିନ୍ସ ଦ ଡାଫୋଡିଲ୍ସ ବା ଡ୍ୟାନ୍ସିଂ ଡାଫୋଡିଲ୍ସ are flashed upon the inward eye of the poet, and which is the bliss of solitude, and which is the great joy of the loneliness. ବୁଝିପାରିଲ, ଯେତେବେଳେ ପଏଟ୍ ଏକୁଟିଆ ନିଜ ଭ୍ୟାକେଣ୍ଟ ମାଇଣ୍ଡରେ ହେଉ କି ଥଟ୍ଫୁଲ୍ ମାଇଣ୍ଡରେ ହେଉ ତାଙ୍କ ସୋଫା ଉପରେ ବସିଛନ୍ତି, ସେତେବେଳେ ତାଙ୍କ ଆଖି ଆଗରେ ଡାଫୋଡିଲ୍ସ କ'ଣ କରିଛି, ନାଚି ଯାଇଛି, ଏବଂ ଯିଏକି ତାଙ୍କୁ ଏକୁଟିଆପଣରୁ ଦୂର କରିଛି ବା ଏକୁଟିଆ ବେଳେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଗ୍ରେଟ୍ ଜୟ ଦେଇଛି। ଦିସ୍ ଇଜ୍ ଦ ମେନ୍ ଥିମ୍। ଆଣ୍ଡ ହ୍ୱେନ୍ ଦେନ୍ ମାଇ ହାର୍ଟ ୱିଥ୍ ପ୍ଲେଜର୍ ଫିଲ୍ସ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଡ୍ୟାନ୍ସେସ୍ ୱିଥ୍ ଦ ଡାଫୋଡିଲ୍ସ। When the daffodils are flashed upon the inward eye of the poet's heart fills with the pleasure and dances with the daffodils. ବୁଝିପାରିଲେ? Now when the poet lies on his sofa in vacant or in pensive mood, the daffodils are flashed upon the inward eye of the poet. At that time the heart of the poet fills with pleasure and dances with the daffodils, and emotion recollected tranquility, spontaneous feelings comes to in his heart. Now this is the time to discuss the rest of the questions, and that to be answered now one by one. I have discussed the 7 questions answers before the video when I have discussed the first and second stanza. So now this is the time to discuss the 8 to 16 questions. Which of the two danced more sprightly, the waves or the daffodils? कौन द वेव्स और डैफोडिल्स कोटा बेसी लिवली डांस कर डैफोडिल्स ओके आंसर इज डैफोडिल्स व्हिच ऑफ द टू डांस्ड डैफोडिल्स danced more sprightly. How does the poet feel while joking at the daffodils? Sorry, looking at the daffodils. While looking at the daffodils, poet feels that. पोएट फिल्स दैट अर्थात से कहते डैफोडिल्स को लुकिंग कला बेले पोएट केमिति फिल करछंती पोएट फिल करछंती सचे जकंड कंपनी भली फिल करछंती आउ किछि समय धरि स्थिर रही तो व्हाइल लुकिंग एट द डैफोडिल्स द पोएट फील्स मोशनलेस he stood some while and thought that daffodils are as a jocund company but that daffodils gave him such a great joy. What happens to the poet when he lies on his couch? When the poet lies on his couch in vacant or in pensive mode, the daffodils are flashed upon the inward eye, which is the bliss of the solitude. The answer is available here, fourth stanza. And when does the poet write the poem beside or of the lake? से कहते जो लेक पाखरे भ्रमण करूला बेले पोएट लिखिंट ना लेक ठार दूर रे घरे बसिक लिखिंट जिते बड़े आम कौन जगह को बुलिकी जाई था पोएट मैंने साधारणतः पकेट्रे खातापत नहीं जाता तो से कौटी लिखिथि बोले भावुंट जेहेतु ये सोफार बसी पोएट से हृदय आखि भितर से नाची उठी डांस और से समय बोधे लिखुवे पाराप्स भावुंट तो आम लिखिपर द पोएट राइट्स द पोएम ऑफ द लेक. So do you find a rhyme scheme in the poem? Oh yes, the rhyming scheme of the first stanza is A B A B. A could crowd mane could or crowd be hela hills daffodils ending with the rhyming complete CC. Is the rhyme scheme similar in other three stanzas or do you find any variations? एटा किसी बुझी पारि नथिबो माने प्राय आमे देखि एटा मु बुझौ 14 नंबर रे एहा आलोचना हेछि द क्लाउड आउ क्राउड एटा ला ए हिल्स डैफोडिल्स एला बी तो ए बी फर्स्ट राइम इज सिमिलर माने जो फर्स्ट लाइन्स वर्ड जो रहला लास्ट रे एटा सिमिलर टू तो थर्ड लाइन ला वर्ड जोटा रहला और जो सेकंड लाइन ला जो एंडिंग वर्डटा रही एटा होची फोर्थ लाइन ला एंडिंग वर्ड सहित समान आछि ताने ए बी बी ए बी एटा दीटा सेम ट्रीज ब्रिज तो सी in this way the second stanza sign line way be glance dance and a b c a b c in this way that all stanzas are same in manner. 15 number chiba the how many times the word dance repeated in this poem you have to count এবং তুমি যে গণিক आंसर দেই পারিবা in which line does it show the happiness and liveliness in the flowers. A sprightly dance जोटा हमर lively dance कहितले ताउची हमर सेकंड स्टैंजा रो लास्ट लाइन ले अछि तो सेटा हम देखि देबा सेकंड स्टैंजा रो जो लास्ट लाइन मींस tossing their heads in a sprightly dance show the happiness and liveliness of the flowers. Okay, in which line does it create a sense of a harmonious relationship between daffodils and the waves? The waves beside they danced and they outdid the sparkling waves in glee, and this line referred to it creates a sense of harmonious relationship between the daffodils and the waves. This is the all about the daffodils. If you have some trouble then please WhatsApp me 97760272251. You WhatsApp in this number if you are facing some trouble. नेक्स्ट वीडियो रे मुझे कौन करी डिस्कस करी क्लीयर करी पारिबी। थैंक यू। आपण मैंने सब्सक्राइब करूँ जहाँ फल यहीपरि भाव में नेक्स्ट पुणी जी पोएम अच्छी फास्ट इयर कौन सेकेंड इयर कौन गोटे गोटे नहीं आसबि सिटी बीडी एमती एनी टाइप ऑफ पजलिंग मैथमेटिक्स साइंस वीडियो मुझे नहीं आसबि। आप देखिपारे जे घर बस समय सदुपयोग करें। थैंक यू ऑल। समस्त भलरे थांतु। ये पानिक सिचुएशन लु दूरे जातु, हाथ दिंतु, घरे रुहतु, सुरक्षित रुहतु।